Hey, Kyler here. Our aim for this show is to leverage every opportunity that life throws at us. I hope you find value in today's show. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Leverage Life Show. My name is Kyler Offenbacker, and you may notice that Cord's not on the screen, and that is because him and his wife, they just had their second baby. And so they just got home a few days ago, and so they're just recovering and getting used to sleepless nights again with having a newborn in the house. But actually, my wife and I, we had our second baby 2 weeks ago, so we're a little bit farther along than they are with getting a little bit more sleep, just a little bit more, but not much. But today I'm flying solo by myself, and if you're new to the show, it is called the Leverage Life Show, and we are looking to leverage every opportunity that life throws at you. And so that is our core mission for the show. And for today's topic specifically, we are going to talk about really the three biggest financial mistakes that high earners make. And I'm going to say something just to start off that it might sting a little bit, but sometimes you got to have these things that sting a little bit. And the reality is that just because that you make a lot of money, whether you're an attorney, you're a physician, or you're in some other high income earning field, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're building wealth. In fact, we've actually seen people making $300,000, $500,000 a year, really even over $1 million a year. And to be transparent, sometimes these people are really just one bad year away from everything collapsing, or really one injury, one illness, some sort of event in their life that could just throw things sideways. And the thing that you got to always ask yourself, and we ask this with a lot of people that we work with, is if your income stopped tomorrow, realistically, how long does your current lifestyle last? You got to be honest with yourself on this. Is that 30 days? Is that 90 days? Maybe even 6 months if you're disciplined, you have an emergency fund set up. Guys, that's not necessarily wealth. Actually, that's not wealth at all. Let me be frank. That's a high paying treadmill. You're getting money in and you're spending it. And today I want to walk you through the three biggest financial mistakes I see high earners make every single day. Because if you fix these, guys, everything changes. And here's the truth that no one tells high earners. Making money is step one. Sometimes that could be the simple part, especially if you're in certain disciplines where you have the education. Now it is, you just got to go get to work, right? So making money is step one, but keeping it, growing it, and protecting it, guys, that's a completely different skill set. And most people never actually make that transition. They go from struggling financially to making great money, but in the meantime of that transition, their strategy never actually evolves. They're still operating like they're broke. They just have nicer stuff, new house, new car, better vacations. But if you really look behind the scenes and you pull back the curtain, there's no structure, there's no systems in place, there's no real strategy. And the biggest issue is this, that income creates opportunity, but strategy creates wealth. I'm going to say that again. Income creates opportunity. Strategy creates wealth. If you don't build the second part, you never actually win in the game. So let's dive into mistake number one, thinking income equals wealth. This is the biggest one. High earners confuse earning power with financial stability. They think, I make great money, I'm good. Well, possibly, but reality is, no, you're really not, because income's active, wealth is stored. And when income is what you earn and wealth is what you keep, then we've got to really have a mindset shift on how we deploy the kind of money that we're getting. And what do most high earners do? They leak money everywhere. And a lot of times that just comes in with lifestyle. Lifestyle creeps in. You're trying to keep up with the Joneses. I've seen this all the time, and I know you have as well. You go from from having a $300,000 house to a $900,000 house, from a paid off car to having $1,200 monthly payments for cars, from simple vacations to 15,000 extravagant vacations. And I want to be totally truthful. None of those are necessarily bad things. But here's the problem. They scale their lifestyle faster than they scale their systems and their strategy. So I want to give you a couple real examples real quick. Two guys, both making $400K a year, right? Really good income. Think of one of them is going to invest about 25% consistently, builds assets, builds structure. The other spends everything, upgrades everything, keeps telling himself, I'll just figure it out later. Now, think realistically. What do you think is going to happen? You fast forward 10 years down the road. The one person's been saving and building, that person has options. The other person, they have obligations. Your income can make you look rich, but your systems determine if you stay rich. That's the truth. And most people really never build the system. They just keep chasing the next dollar. And the hard truth is, if your lifestyle depends on your next paycheck, you are not wealthy. You're just highly compensated. Wealth is not about how much you make. It is about how much of your life is no longer dependent on you working. So let's talk about mistake number 2, no protection strategy. This is the dangerous one because it doesn't show up until it's too late. So high earners spend all of their time thinking about growth, but almost no one is talking about protection, or they're thinking about protection. So let me ask you a simple question. What is your greatest financial asset? We've talked about this in other episodes, and it is not going to be your house. It's not going to be your investments. It's your ability to earn income. That is it. You are the money generating machine for your home. That is it. Everything in your financial life is built on your ability to show up and produce and to bring money into the home. So what actually happens if that does go away? Like I mentioned earlier, injury, illness, some sort of unexpected event. What happens now? Most people really don't have an answer for that. And you really need to be asking yourself that, because if you have an injury and illness, some sort of unexpected event that comes into play, what's your real answer to that? A lot of times people assume, or they'll just think like, I'll figure it out. But realistically, be real with yourself. Will you actually figure it out? Most of the times, no, because you don't have anything in place. So that's a hard place to be, because when life hits, it hits fast and it hits hard. And I know you've seen it. Like I said, I've seen it before. High income business earners, great lifestyle, family, kids, one injury away. Income drops to zero. 6 months later, think about the reality of that situation. They've drained their savings. Stress is through the roof. Your marriage is strained because of financial situations that you're having to deal with. And by the way, financial issues in marriage are a lot of times the number one reason that people will get divorced. Everything just starts unraveling, not because they weren't successful, but just because they weren't protected. And you don't build wealth by taking risks you don't understand. That's how you lose it. So let's talk about the basics. We've talked about this before in other episodes. Disability insurance is very, very, very important. If you can't work, this replaces your income. This is a non-negotiable for income earners. Life insurance, it's not just about the death benefit. It's protecting your family, your business, your legacy. And if structured properly, it can become a strategic asset as well. But that's a different conversation. But the point is, protection is the foundation, not the afterthought. You don't build a house on sand, but that's exactly how a lot of high earners are doing nowadays. They're just building houses on sand. They're stacking assets on top of zero protection. So ask yourself again, if your income stops and your entire financial plan gets thrown out of whack, what is that going to look like? That's going to stress a lot of things very, very quickly. And a lot of times, most people will fail that stress test when some sort of financial insecurity comes into place. If you're serious about making smart decisions with your money and protecting the people who matter most, this is where clarity starts. The reality is most people don't lack options. They lack clear strategy that actually fits their life. At the Leverage Life Show, we help individuals and families understand what makes sense for your situation, whether that's life insurance, final expense planning, or more advanced strategies like bank premium financing. If you want to take the next step with confidence, text SHOW to 479-396-3528. We'll help you get clear before you make a decision. Now let's get back to the show. All right, let's talk about mistake number 3, playing small with your money. This is where it gets a little bit interesting, because high earners have the biggest opportunity, and most of them, a lot of times, completely waste it. They think small, they stay stuck in basic strategies, 401ks, maybe some sort of brokerage account. Call it a day. Guys, that's the status quo. That's your bare minimum, what you should be doing. But reality is that's not actually strategy. That's just default behavior. And at some income level, you have access to completely different tools, better structures, better tax strategies, better leverage. But how to step into that level, most people don't actually do that because they've never been shown how. Or worse, actually, they're getting advice from people that don't operate at that level and have never worked with those types of people. So let me give you a little bit of a mindset shift. Money is not just something you earn, it's something you deploy. And high-level operators deploy money differently. They think in terms of efficiency, leverage, control, not just returns. Returns are important. Don't get me wrong. Very, very important. But we've got to think more strategically about this. What matters more is how your money's structured, how it flows, how it's taxed, how it's protected, and how it works for you, even when you're not working, because every dollar that comes in your life should have a plan and should have a very specific and strategic structure of how that's going to be deployed. This is where advanced strategies come into play. Things like structuring insurance planning, tax advantage vehicles, even strategies like bank premium financed life insurance policies, or some sort of charitable contributions. There's different ways to go about these with more advanced strategies, but we've talked about this before. It's not for everyone, but for the right person, guys, this stuff can be a game changer. The problem is most high earners never even get introduced to this world. So they stay stuck, making great money with average strategies. High income without high leverage strategy is just delayed frustration. If you're making some serious money, you owe it to yourself and your family to operate at a higher level, not just to earn more. But you have to think differently about the money you already have. So let's bring this all together. The three biggest financial mistakes high earners make. Number one, thinking income equals wealth. It does not. We talked about that. Wealth is what you keep and how you structure. Number two, no protection strategy. If your income disappears, your plan collapses. Guys, we got to fix that immediately. Number three, playing small with your money, staying stuck in basic strategies when you have access to so much more. Here's the mindset shift I want you to walk away with. You don't get wealthy by accident. You get wealthy by design. And design requires intention. It requires structure. It requires thinking differently than just the average person, even if you're making way more than the average person. The goal isn't to make more money. The goal is to build a life where money is no longer the thing controlling your decisions. Guys, that's how we think about leveraging life, and I hope you do as well. That is all I've got for today's episode. The top 3 reasons why high earners will lose their money and the biggest mistakes that they face. Until next time, hope you leverage every opportunity that life throws at you. Bye for now.